Hello and welcome back to another video on this YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining some of the biggest stories that's been coming out this week, explaining it in a simple and easy way to understand. So make sure you guys subscribe down below to keep up with the latest. And with that, let's start off with the biggest story, which is that the UK is looking at a social media ban for those that are under 16. So they're exploring an Australian style ban which would ban those that are under 16 from accessing it, and that could come in as early as this year. So last month, the government launched a consultation which looked at, how things should be done, some of the things that could come out of it, and now the government is working to change the law such that whatever comes out of the consultation can be implemented, only a few months after it's completed. So it could come in as early as this year. Countries like Spain, Greece, Slovenia, they're also working on banning social media for those that are under 16 too, or looking at some sort of similar bans to that we've seen of Australia, which has been the first country in the world to do so. And that's also come in the UK as part of the growing scrutiny to do something about the fact that AI bots like Grok have produced non-consensual images that could be something that could be viewed by children, as well as the fact that social media can potentially be a unsafe environment for those that are underage. So let me know in the comments below what you think about the UK exploring this, whether you think it's a good thing, whether you think it's even going to be effective. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And with that said, let's move on to the next story, which is that the UK police are using drones to arrest phone thieves. So more than 200 people have been arrested as part of a 4-week crackdown on phone theft in London. So they've been using drones, e-bikes, live facial recognition to identify and arrest suspects quickly. And in 2024, there were around 80,000 phone theft incidents that occurred. And last year, it came down to 70,000. So that's like a decrease of around 10,000. And in hotspots like the West End, the police have been able to bring that down to 30%. Now, bear in mind, like London is a key area where tourists are traveling into, and a lot of them are having their phones stolen. But not just tourists, but locals, people who are bringing out their phones, and the people that are on these bikes that are stealing their phones, and especially in areas of the West End, which is a massive hotspot. The police being able to bring that down to 30% is something that they will be quite proud of. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the idea of using live facial recognition, using drones, whether you think that's a good thing, or whether you think that could be something that could be potentially a disruption to people's ordinary lives or an invasion of privacy. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Now, with that said, let's move on to the next story, which is that unemployment has reached a all-time high in almost 5 years. So it's hit its highest rate. And if you look at this graph, so this graph is from Sky News, and it shows that during the pandemic, obviously there's a massive number of people unemployed, and then it dropped down. But since Labour came into government, it's actually increased to levels that are almost identical to that of the pandemic. So it shows a clear trend that getting a job is harder than ever before since the pandemic. And that one of the trends that people are talking about is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to not only just get one, but losing jobs too. So the big question is, why is unemployment increasing? So a survey found that unemployment is increasing because of some of the new workers' rights. So there was a third of employers who was asked in a study why they're changing their approaches, and one of the biggest factors that came out of it was the Employment Rights Act that came into law in December. and it guaranteed that workers had entitlement to things like sick pay from the first day of their job, to parental leave, as well as a change to 0-hour contracts, such that workers were able to gain rights to guaranteed hours. So that change in law has meant that some employers have, stopped their hiring or changed their hiring processes. But some people will say that it's more than just a change in law. In fact, it's a change of personnel. In fact, that people have been replaced by things like AI chatbots or AI technology. A lot of people are arguing that things like the introduction of AI has meant that graduate jobs, junior position jobs, trainee jobs, those have been quietly replaced by AI because it's cheaper, more efficient, and able to get the same tasks done. So that's kind of been one of the biggest reasons for why unemployment has increased, and it's kind of coincided with the Labour government coming into to government, basically. So let me know in the comments below what you think about whether or not that's the case, why you think unemployment is increasing, but more so what you think about the police using drones, as well as the social media ban. And make sure, of course, that you subscribe and you turn on bell notifications as I continue to give you guys the lowdown and what's happening in the news.